can you compare ratios to solve a problem? Think about this question during the lesson. Dustin had 3 hits for every 8 at-bats. Adrian had 4 hits for every 10 at-bats. Who has the better hits to at-bats ratio? Why is using a ratio table helpful? Why are the original ratios difficult to compare? A ratio table helps you to organize the terms so that you can generate equivalent ratios. The original ratios are difficult to compare because none of the terms are the same. Extend and complete the ratio tables for Dustin and Adrian until the number of hits or the number of at-bats is the same in each table. How do you generate the numbers in each column to find equivalent ratios? You multiply the original terms by the same numbers, 2, 3, 4, and so on. How do you know to stop completing Adrian's ratio table when you find an equivalent ratio that compares hits to 40 at-bats? You know you can stop because there is an equivalent ratio in Dustin's ratio table that also compares hits to 40 at-bats. Now you can compare the number of hits that Dustin and Adrian each get with 40 at-bats. Who gets more hits in 40 at-bats?
Select your answer.
Dustin gets 15 hits for every 40 at-bats. Adrian gets 16 hits for every 40 at-bats. Since Adrian gets more hits, he has the better hits to at-bats ratio. If you had stopped at 12 hits each, would you have reached the same conclusion? Explain your reasoning. Yes, it takes Dustin 32 at-bats to make 12 hits. But it takes Adrian only 30 at-bats to make 12 hits. Adrian still has the better hits to at-bats ratio. Now you know how to compare ratios to solve a problem.
Marlon had 6 hits and 15 at-bats. How does Marlon's hits to at-bats ratio compare to Adrian's?
Let's look at the ratio. Marlon had 6 hits and 15 at-bats. So we want to compare his ratio with the ratio of Adrian's. Now Marlon had a ratio. Let me write his name. Marlon had an at-bat ratio. He had 6 hits to 15 at-bats. So now we're going to compare him with Adrian. So we're going to complete Marlon's table until we get to the same number of at-bats to see if they match. So I'm going to keep counting. I'm going to multiply by 2. So 6 times 2 is 12. 15 times 2 is 30. So thankfully we only had to move down one more to complete the table for Marlon until we reached one that matches. If you look here, that matches Adrian's hits to at-bats. So Marlon and Adrian actually have the same ratio of hits to at-bats. They're equivalent ratios, the 6 to 15 and Adrian's ratio.
Due to compatibility and size restrictions, only certain types of fish can live together in an aquarium. If there are 15 mollies in each tank with the ratios shown at the right, which tank has more fish?
Step 1. Make a table to show the ratio of guppies to mollies in tank 1. So here's tank 1, and the ratio is 4 to 5 mollies. Now we have the table. We have guppies, mollies, and total fish. We have 4 guppies, 5 mollies, total number of fish is 9. And then we continue making equivalent ratios all the way down. So they went all the way down, multiplying by 2, then multiplying by 3, and multiplying by 4 times 4, and then 4 times 5 to get 20. Same thing here, you multiply 5 times 2 to get 10, 5 times 3 to 15, 5 times 4 to 20, and 5 times 5 to 25. And so we have our table completed here. And so there are 12 guppies for every 15 mollies for tank 1. Tank 2, you do the same thing. And the ratio for angelfish to mollies is 2 to 3. So you have angelfish, mollies, total fish. Same concept, you keep multiplying to get to equal equivalent ratios. And then you find where they have the same number of mollies, because it asks if there are 15 mollies in each tank, with the ratio shown which tank has more fish. So we have 15 mollies, 15 mollies. Total number of fish for tank 1 is 27. Total number of fish here is 35. So the tank with the most would be tank 2, which has more fish. So you would write for tank 1, the total number is 27, and that's gonna, for tank, tank 1 is 27, and that's greater than 25. So tank 1 at 27 has more fish. And that is an error here. That should be 25, not 35. I just noticed. So yes, 27, tank 1 is greater than tank 2. Tank 3 has a ratio of 3 guppies for every 4 angelfish. Complete the ratio to find the number of angelfish in tank 3 with 12 guppies. Tank 1 has 12 guppies and 15 mollies. Which tank with guppies has more fish? So the ratio is 3 to 4 in this other tank. And then we're going to say 3 plus 4 is 7. And then we're going to multiply by 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. 6 plus 8 is 14. Then we have 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. And then 9 plus 12 is equal to 21. And then 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. And then 12 plus 16 is 28. And then we need to find, let's see, they wanted to know angelfish. So we have 12 angelfish. How many? Oh, 12 guppies. Here we go. 12 guppies right here. And we have 16 angelfish. So which tank has more guppies? Which tank with guppies, I'm sorry, has more fish? So we have the 12 guppies here, and the amount of fish in that tank is 28 for tank 3. And then for tank 1, we'll look back at the example. Tank 1 with 12 guppies, they had 27. So 27 compared to 28. So 27 from tank 1, let me write that in a different color. 27 for tank 1 is less than 28 in tank 3. So tank 3 has more total fish than tank 1.